The Limitless Journey podcast is a project that is dedicated to sharing the stories of young people who are challenging the status quo and positively impacting their communities with the sole purpose of motivating others to take action and to live their best lives. My name is Success Yule Areveso, and in today's episode, I had an amazing conversation with Chris Wonder, a storyteller and a documentary photographer. He shared how he ventured into photography from painting. Yes, he was a painter, and I'm sure you are shocked as well too. He also shared how he got his first camera, and he gave us insight on how he's changing the narrative through photography. He's currently working on his project called Bayelsa, She is Beautiful. And you will definitely feel and hear the passion in his voice when he's talking about his project. It is so inspiring. In this episode, I hope you learn, think, and be inspired. Thank you so much, Wanda, for joining me on this podcast episode today. It's such a great privilege to have you here with me. So how are you doing? How
Thank you for
has
having
your
me.
week been so far? Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. How are you doing?
My week has been fine. I'm good. I'm excellent. Yeah. Today was great. Network. I really had network issues today,
Wow.
so it really affected me. But still, it was a great day because I'm here with you now talking, and I know it's going to be an exciting episode, and I can't wait. I can't wait. So today has been great, and I'm happy for the way today is actually ending. So
Wow.
yeah, I'm so happy.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I think I share the same sentiment with you. I think overall I had a great day as well. Aside from the fact that I missed an important appointment this morning, which we'll try to set that. But aside from that, I had a great day too, and I'm super excited to be doing this with you. Thank you so much. I knew that I needed to interview you for this podcast, and we both attended UNIBEN. So seeing that you've grown to this point and you're working on your amazing project is really, really impressive. And I really want to know what it was like for you growing up. Let us know a little bit more about your background and, amazing things about your family that you want to really share so that we can get to know a little bit more about you.
Okay. So yeah, I grew up in a family of five. So my dad was a pastor, he was a missionary, and I've grown up around the whole Nigeria and even outside because we had to be traveling from one state to another state. So we could spend 1 year somewhere, spend 2 years in another state. And we went to the north, the south, the east, and the west, and even the middle belt, throughout my dad's missionary years. And my sister was even giving birth in Liberia. So my upbringing was actually interesting. I don't have any like childhood friend that I've stayed with for 20 years, but I have friends scattered around the whole Nigeria. So kind of like I've tasted cultures, I've met different people, I've heard different languages. Growing up was like a mixture of, that kind of journey of like you're always traveling, always moving from a school to another school, from a
Wow.
location to another location. So it was very hectic and interesting at the same time because I got to meet a lot of people and have different experiences in the north, the south, east, and west, like different experiences. So yeah, my upbringing was interesting. Yeah, very
Amazing. So
interesting.
I really understand that point. That the fact that you said you grew up not having a particular friend. The reason would be because of the fact that you're not always in one particular location. But it's actually not a bad thing though. Those experiences,
Yeah,
those places that you must have visited must have shaped the kind of person that you are now. And you will even be surprised that you may have some connecting
yeah,
dots with what you're currently doing, which is actually photography and telling stories of the Nigerian culture, Niger Delta culture as well too. So I want to know, I want to know if you have always considered yourself as a photographer. Was it that while growing up you admired photography profession and you were just like, I need to do this thing, or it happened at the spur of the moment? When did you realize that this was it?
man. I never knew I was going to be a photographer. Like if you had asked me 5, 10 years ago, I'll tell you, man, at all. I'm not going to be a photographer. I never anticipated it. It happened in 2018, and then I was in university already. I was doing painting. I was a painter from my secondary school. I was from high school. I was a painter, and I never knew that I'll ever stop painting because I was so addicted to it. I was
Hmm.
so passionate about it, and every single day I was even missing classes doing that. Like, so I never expected to be a photographer. So I didn't expect it at all. It happened, and there's a story to that. Probably I can share that story into the podcast. But I never expected to be a photographer at all. I thought I'll be an artist for life as a painter. Yeah.
When did you when did you realize that you needed to make this change?
Okay, it was in 2018, and it's kind of funny how I realized that photography was a thing for me because it happened that each time I was in fellowship, each time I was in class, and people were taking pictures with their phone. Once I hold the phone and I take a picture, everybody wants me to suddenly just take the picture because it just looked different from everybody else's own. It was
Hmm.
always sharp, it was always fine, it was always like angled. Everything was just different. So each time I come into class, people were already booking me, guy, you take my picture, take my phone, take my picture. You understand? And it was
Yes.
always funny that even in the fellowship, then if they're doing anything, they'll be like, "Wonder, did you come with your phone? Can you take us a picture? Or take this phone, take us a picture?" I'm like, somebody else is there, give him the phone. They're like, "No, you must take it." So then from there, I began to have a distaste and a hatred for seeing bad pictures in quotes. When as a photographer, I can state what a bad picture is based on lighting, based on composition, based on some certain terms in photography. I can actually state what a bad picture is in quotes. So I began to hate seeing all those things. I hated to see pictures that the lighting was not good, pictures that they were not telling a story, pictures that were, they were just flat and it was dark. So from there, that hatred just kept continuing. It was like a passionate hatred for
Wow.
seeing those kind of pictures. So as it kept developing and developing in me, I was still painting, but I began to realize that why are they taking pictures like this from this angle? Why is the picture always dark? Can't we just do something extra to make it fine? That was what was going on in my mind. So then it got to a point where it was just too much for me. I called my mom and told her, "Mom, see, like I'm having this hatred for seeing bad pictures. I think I'm becoming very passionate about photography. I think this is something I would like to do." So she's like, "Okay." My mom has always been supportive. So she's like, "Okay, that's great. Okay, what do you want to do now?" I'm like, "Okay, I'll check for a camera that I think I would like to buy." I went on, I started researching, then I called her again. I told her, "Okay, see the amount to," and she was like, "We're going to save towards it." So all my paintings, I was saving the money to start photography. Every single painting I
Wow.
was doing, the money was going there. I was hungry sometimes. I was hungry for some time. We saved for about 3 to 4 months, me and my mom together. And then
Wow.
on one particular day, I was like, that on that day, I said, "God, please, this thing camera cannot pass this particular time. If it passes this particular time, I'm not going to do it again."
Hmm.
So then I was working from class one day in school, and then my spirit just told me, "Call your dad." We're 7 minutes without telling him, "Call your dad." So I called him. I said, "Dad, this was going on." We're talking for a while, and then I think that's one of the longest comment my dad would have had.
Are you
So I called him. I
serious?
said, "Dad, see what is going on. Oh, I'm saving for this camera." And then he was like, "Okay, that how much is it?" I told him the amount, that this amount that's remaining 160K. That it was like, okay, I should send the camera to him. I sent the specs and everything to him. That let him check it out. Before I walked from where I was there, I got an alert on my phone, and that was 160K. I was
Wow.
like how? So I called my dad and I told him that I just got an alert. When you want to send it, they were like, "Yes." I said, "Man, thank you." He told me that he was borrowing me the money because he knows that I'm a businessman. I'll pay him back. So I laughed.
That's
I
really
thanked him
nice.
for giving me the 160K. So that was how I added the money to what I had saved up, about 200 and something K or so. And then I dived in to go and buy my first camera. And my photography started from there. I did not look back since that time.
Oh
So that
wow.
was the journey for me.
It's so amazing that you have
Yeah.
like supportive parents because I can remember when you actually talked about people snapping bad pictures. I can actually relate to that because I remember the time that you took us pictures for Oluchi's 18th birthday. Oluchi is my friend, so for those of us, just to give us a context of the conversation. So Wanda was the one that we called for the photo shoot, and this was like about 4 years ago in 2018, late 2018. So we called Wanda and they were like, "Oh, Wanda, would you like to take us pictures for Oluchi's shoot?" He agreed. And those pictures really spoke a lot to me at the time because I really, really loved them. It depicted a whole lot of perspectives to me then. And I'm so amazed at the amount of ways that you've grown since that time. And if you can remember correctly, we actually dragging you to take us pictures that day. So we're dragging one that you take me after you've taken Oluchi our shoots for our birthday, right? So you will come and take me. So the fact that your dad really supported you in this journey and seeing how far you've come, I'm really impressed. So I want to know, did you actually give him the 160,000 thereabout?
My dear, my dad is late now. He passed on in
Oh,
2019 January.
oh
So
wow.
sometimes when I'm doing this work, I'm like, I owe him something bigger. I'm like, I need to do this, and that's why I say I'm always going out to help people. That's one of the reasons why I'm very, very passionate about that. I'm like, my dad supported me because when I was in my painting in school, then in my high school, it wasn't really. He was not even aware. He was not supporting like then. He wasn't aware. But this
Okay.
camera was one of the biggest support he had given me when it relates to my talent or my gift. Like that was like the first or second time he had ever done that to me to
Oh
support my
wow.
gift. So it meant so much to me at that time, and I was planning to actually pay him back. But I was not like planning like strategizing to pay him back because I know that when he said he borrowed me money, I see that
Eh?
as a man, it's just his way of saying that he's giving me the money. You
Yes.
understand? But at the same time, like I'm so grateful to him. Like I'm grateful to him for that support because that was something major for me. I did not expect that all. So it was a great support for me. I
So
didn't
I
pay him back, but I'm paying him back with living a good life by imparting people and by using my own gift that he supported me at the beginning to actually help people now. That's what I'm doing to pay him back, and that his name continues to live on because most people call me Chris, but my name is Wonder, and I'm glad that you are calling me Wonder in this podcast because a lot of people outside call me Chris. So that name Chris is my dad's name.
oh
So each
wow.
time they call me Chris, sometimes I don't want to change them. I don't want to correct them to call me Wonder because it just reminds me about my dad, and it just makes me feel like his name keeps living on through me. So that's
Oh
one reason
wow.
why I don't even stop some people from calling me his name Chris. I just leave them to call me Chris. But I still like to be called Wonder. You understand? But if people call me Chris, I still take it.
Oh well,
You
this is
understand? So those are some of my ways of actually like repaying him and saying that thank you. I also telling the world how much he supported me. So those are ways of appreciating him and keeping his name alive. You understand?
Oh wow, this is really touching and powerful. And God bless your dad. And I pray that his soul continues to rest in perfect peace. And I've been a witness to how far you've impacted your world and how you continue to let others know that they can do it, whatever that you are doing, just put your mind to it from your project. I think there was one I actually saw on Facebook that really caught me. I don't know whether it was your dad's remembrance or whether it was one of all these public holiday. Then you went for a particular outreach, and then there was this guy that you were videoing or so. That documentary of that particular outreach really caught my attention. So can you really like, I don't know if you remember the video I'm actually trying to talk about, because there was a particular remembrance or outreach that you did in honor of your dad, and I saw it on Facebook, I think
Yeah.
last year. So can you
It
like
was
share a
it was his
little bit
birthday.
more about that? Okay, it was on his birthday. So can you like share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it was his birthday, and my dad was known as someone that used to give. He was a giver. He used to help people. He was this very nice and kind man. He had a very good heart, forgiving, loving. So on his birthday, I did a remembrance for him by going out to a place where people are. They don't have houses, so they went to that building, an incompleted building, and people were
Mm,
living there. So I've gone there a few times to preach, to talk to the people, just to talk about Christ to them. Then during that period of time, my dad's birthday, I was like, wow, that I could do something bigger here. These children, I'm not seeing them eating anything fancy or having like Christmas like enjoyment. So what I did was that we organized a Christmas for them because my dad's birthday was on the 28th. So went there to do Christmas and celebration of my dad's birthday at the same time on his birthday, which was the 28th. We combined it together. So giving them like a Christmas experience. We brought speaker, we brought snacks, we brought food. I got the idea a day before or 2 days before his birthday. But on his birthday, we had a lot of things set already because mainly I put it out there. I just got some support from some people. It was amazing. And I already put in like 15 to 20K of my own money there as a foundation money to start. And then everybody started bringing 2K, yeah, 1.5. So the money got, I think, around 30 something to 40K or so. Then we went there and we bought things. We just brought snacks, brought food, brought different things. People donated clothes. Like
Wow.
I was overwhelmed by the support I was getting.
Are
People,
you
I
serious?
told people in the day before, and that day, that morning, people were coming with clothes, people were coming with things, and they came and supported me. Teenagers, not just, I told my pastor, he gave us the church bus. The church bus
Wow.
took all of us there, with mic, with speaker, with everything. The people danced, the children. I still have those videos. You just reminded me about that experience. It's really touched me. We prayed for them. We showed them love. They got new clothes, they got food, they got, so it was an amazing experience, and it made me to actually like celebrate my dad for who he was. So we're paying a homage to him, and just like showing the life he lived, and just being like an extension of who he was, to help people, so that he's still alive, whether he's on earth or not, he's still alive, and his memory is still valuable. He's still with us. So we just did that to honor him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. I know the project really touched me. So I remember I even commented on it on Facebook at the time you did that particular project. And I was really, really impressed because for the past 2 to 3 years, you've been working with us at Church on the Street. So just for context sake, so Wanda has been the official photographer for us at Church on the Street. And Church on the Street is an organization that I am currently, I'm working with. So my friends and I, we started the organization in 2018 thereabout, and we're focused on reaching to people by providing meals and education for them. And Wanda has been with us, traveling with us to different places, especially with the team, places like Benue, Abuja, Nasarawa, even on the recent project that we did, Worry. And it has been so amazing that you've been able to tell our story using your pictures, using your skills, and then also making more videos about it. And every time I actually look at your work, I always say this one, that you are doing an amazing job. I'm always impressed. I'm like, oh my goodness. People always ask me, who is the person that takes your pictures at Church on the Street? Because they are world-class pictures. And I'm so excited about any single one of your project that you do for us at Church on the Street. So this is me saying thank you on this podcast. So Church on the Street fam that may be listening to this, I've said thank you to our official photographer, for doing all
Yeah.
that. So I'm glad that your dad had a great influence in you starting out your journey as a photographer. So looking back at everything that you've done so far, what would you say has been your best, memory of being a photographer, and also transitioning to the fact that you're working on this amazing project called Bayelsa, She's Beautiful. So I really want to know how all of these things has been for you.
Okay, my best memory. I've had a lot of amazing memories, but I think one of the most striking ones was when I was creating the portrait of a particular girl in Benue State. So her name is Dauphin.
My name is
That
what?
Benue experience on its own was Dauphin. Dauphin. Her name is Dauphin. She's from Benue State. So I took her portrait, and each time I look at that portrait, what comes to my head is that Dauphin's portrait is going to change her life. Dauphin's portrait is going to change her life. So I plan to sell that picture and use the funds to go back and change Dauphin's life, like basically from scratch. But her
Wow.
story touched me. She has these beautiful eyes. She has these beautiful, amazing, lovely and attractive eyes. I want to look at that picture. You'll be drawn to who she is. It's like you're drawn to her soul. That's what is in that picture. So that picture struck me. Like I said, I've had an amazing moments as a photographer. But you see that particular moment where I created and I took that girl's picture, Dauphin's picture, till now it's still something that I want to go back to. It's something that I've never been as passionate as a picture as that one, because I want that picture to change her life. And I know that by God's grace, I'm going to do that. We're going to go there and we're going to basically help her and her family to start from scratch, because she lost her dad. She lost her
Oh,
dad
wow.
through the Fulani herdsmen clash, and she lost her dad. So we need to go back and do what we can to help her. So, that was one moment that actually changed my life. Because as I was looking through that camera, as I was looking at this girl, it was like I was seeing deep into who she was. I was feeling the moment as in with that camera, and And the picture is a proof of how I felt at that time when I was with her. So that's a great moment for me. Among the many others I have experienced as a photographer, I just felt like sharing that particular one.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, that's really nice. And to think that you've been able to, yes, I also saw like some work that you actually did recently, and where you actually saw the picture, and then you also want to actually use it to help the woman's life, which is really really nice. And now that we're even on the on this particular topic, I think that project would be this particular one that you're working on, which is the Bayelsa She's Beautiful project. And I remember I it was because of that project that I became more interested in, hearing more about your story. And I was like, I need to have one that on this particular project that I'm working on, which is my podcast. So I want to know more about the Bayelsa She's Beautiful project, because it's really, really inspiring, and seeing that someone would just decide to wake up one morning and go into a particular state and decide to tell the story of that particular state. What is your motivation behind that particular project? Why do you want to do it? Why do you want to tell the story of Bayelsa? When did it occur to you that you needed to do this particular thing?
Yo, to answer this question, I need to just give a disclaimer first that this is a very, very passionate topic. So, guys, if you're listening, I may sound very passionate about this because this is what I'm dedicating the next 5 to 10 years of my life to do. So, a minimum of 5 years, to 10 years of my life to do this particular project titled Bayelsa She is Beautiful. So, when you think about Dubai, you may have not been to Dubai, but when you think about Dubai, there are some pictures that come to your head. You have an imagination of what it looks like. When you
Yeah.
think about the US, think about some countries, you have an imagination of what those countries look like. But when you think about the Niger Delta, what comes to your mind? What comes to
Hmm.
your mind? And I've had this conversation with a lot of people, and they tell me all they know about the Niger Delta is the militants, the oil spillage, it's crime here and there. Because that is all they see. You cannot blame them. When you keep
Wow.
seeing something about a place, that is what keep coming to your mind as a narrative of that place and who those people are. So this is what they keep thinking about the Niger Delta, about the Bayelsans, forgetting that Bayelsans and the Niger Delta were a people before crude oil was ever discovered in their land in 1956 or so. There were people before that time. There were people, they had culture. There was something, they were known for something before that time. What happened then when crude oil was discovered? So these people, they fought for years because when crude oil was discovered, these companies came in with the few leaders we have in authority. And what did they do? With the mining of the crude oil, they destroyed their waters, they destroyed their land, they destroyed the air. These people kept asking, like, you're killing our fishes, you're killing everything, you're giving us nothing in return. At least develop our land, at least let there be electricity, at least let there be this, let there be that. These people did
Mm,
not respond positively. Instead, they brought the military to bully them and everything. And that was what gave birth to the militants. These
mm,
militants. I don't want to talk too much about this particular topic of militants, but you've never heard of a militant. I guess you never heard of a militant kidnapping in Niger Delta or Bayelsa. You never heard of a militant entering to a village and killing people. They are not terrorists. What they attack is pipelines. What they attack is the companies, the oil companies that are mining the oil that is destroying their water. Like I'm in Bayelsa at the moment, and I've seen that the climate condition here is different. The water has been affected. Before fishes can be flying out, now they'll stay for hours with nets, and all those still catch their little fishes. What
wow.
happened to the water? The water has been destroyed. A lot of the communities, they cannot farm on the land anymore. They've been chased out of their communities because some companies came and took oil from the land. There were some rare species of fishes in Bayelsa, about 21 or so. If you check Google, this is there. These are not things that I'm guessing. There were rare species of fishes in Bayelsa, but they were all killed because of this process of the crude oil mining and everything. So it has affected the people. If they were benefiting from it, that would be great. But they're not benefiting from it. And the worst part of what is affecting them is not even just these things I'm talking about. It is that their
Mm,
identity, what they are known for, is false. I don't know if you understand me. I'm getting
yes.
somewhere now. The worst effect of all these things that have been done to them over these more than four decades, over 40 years, is the effect is that their identity has been spoiled, their reputation. So what are they known for? Like I said at the beginning, militancy. crime, oil spillage, all these negative things. What about the culture? What do you know about Bayelsa culture? What do you know about Bayelsa food? What do you know about the people? You don't know anything. And then because of these negative things you have seen, you say, I don't want to ever come to this place. I don't like these people. This is who they are. Because that is all you see on the net. That is all you see on the media. So those things are things that, is what is happening right now. So the narrative has been spoiled. So what's my project coming in to do? The Bayelsa Shipbuilding project is coming in to show the world the beauty of Bayelsa, the Niger Delta, the land, the people, and the culture. So we're
Wow.
going in to show the true story of who the Niger Delta is. But the Niger Delta are not militants. It's not about oil spillage. The land is not about crime. No. These people are loving people, amazing people, beautiful people. They have rich culture. The things you have not seen, the way the story should have been told from the beginning, before crude oil was discovered, is the story we want to tell now with the Bayelsa Shipbuilding project. I've met Bayelsans. I'm in Bayelsa at the moment. I've seen these people. I've communicated with them. I know how amazing they are. You can meet a Bayelsan today and you're talking with them, you're shaking their hands, you're gisting. Like
Yeah.
you're just gisting from nowhere. I'm telling you the truth. But what is being shown on the media is so false. If I don't
Wow.
tell you all this, you will not know. If I don't tell you all this, you will not know. They don't have a good footprint on the internet. They don't have a good footprint there. If you want to check about the footprint of the Bayelsa, all you're going to see is the oil spillage and the Niger Delta militants. Check YouTube. That's what you're going to see. So
Hmm.
what we're coming to do is coming to show you the beauty of the land. We're coming to show you that these people, there's more to these people than the crude oil that is forcefully taken from their land. There's beauty in their culture. There's beauty in their heritage. These people are loving. We're coming to show you who the people are, who they truly are, not what you see on the media. That's what the project is coming for. It is a 5 to 10 years project I'm dedicating my life to. When you discover what you are born to do, when people ask about it, sometimes it sounds like an obsession that you cannot really explain fully. And
Hmm.
that's what this thing is to me, because I can talk about it for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, I will not get tired. Because it is so delicate and extensive. It is a big project. But we started from little stories. That are relatable to the whole Niger Delta, like palm oil production. That was the first phase we started with. We're still in that phase because we're planning to do a film. But we did the documentary, I think about 3 weeks ago. Yeah. And I minted 6 pictures from that documentary on NFT and an NFT market space. So we listed some of the pictures that we've sold one, remaining five. But now we are going in for the completion of the first phase, which is the palm oil production. So we started
Okay.
with a woman called Mama Palm Oil, and another woman called Mama Palm Oil. She has been doing palm oil for years, and then we started a documentary from her, and it was amazing. We were with her for 3 days in our community here under the hot sun and the rain. It was very interesting, difficult. I tell you the truth, but interesting. We're there from the beginning of the palm oil process to the ending of it, and we documented the whole process. And this is part of the beginning of the whole project. At least we started from somewhere that is relatable to the Niger Delta, and it's relatively not so expensive to start from, because the project is going to be expensive. We're going to spend a lot of money traveling around the whole state. We're planning travels to the southern Ijaw. We're planning travels to, Nimbe, Bra, some of those places in Bayelsa that you've not heard of outside. We're going to put
Wow.
their footprint on the internet. We're going to put their footprint out there so that you see who the people are. What you don't know about them, you begin to know about them from this project. Our project is centered around a girl called Tare. The question I ask people is that I ask them a question that Tare's mom grew up with a stigma that her land is all about oil spillage, militancy, and crime. Should
Hmm.
Tari be forced to grow up with that same stigma? Should she be
No.
forced to grow up with that same stigma because she's a Niger Deltan? Should she be
No.
forced to grow up with that same stigma simply because she's Bayelsa? No, no, there's hope. She's never picked up a gun. She's never been involved in a crime, but she'll be called a criminal when she goes to another state in Nigeria. She'll be called a militant when she stepped out of the country. Why? Because the media has painted her to be so. Is that right? Does she deserve it? For someone from a state that contributes 9% of the economy and 68-80% of the export value of the nation, does that person deserve to be treated in that way? No. Do you understand me? So that the project is big. And that's why I say I don't want to go deeper into talking about it, because I can spend a long time talking about it. But this is the summary. I hope you have gotten something from the summary. If you have more questions for me, man, I'm here.
Well, I can really tell how passionate you are, and the fact that, funny enough, while you were mentioning when you go on the media, the things you would see are negative news. I actually picked up my phone and I googled Bayelsa, and trust me, I saw one negative news. I saw one negative news on it, and the fact that you're working hard to tell the stories. For me, I'm really passionate about telling the stories of young people that are impacting their world positively. Reason because of this, anytime I go for an event, most times when I hear a speaker, giving a speech or trying to inspire other people, I realize that I'm always more drawn to the speaker's story, like how the speaker went from like 0 to 100, and from the speaker story, I'm always
Yeah.
picking my lessons. Like, oh, maybe for example, this particular person was at this point in
Yeah.
UK. So I'm always relating their story to where I am at that particular point in time. So I can totally relate with what you're trying to do as a storyteller and also as a photographer, because what you're trying to do is literally it's so amazing. And the world, we are waiting to, see how beautiful this project is going to turn into. We are just waiting to receive Bayelsa. She's beautiful, and try thinking positively
Yes.
about Niger Delta. And also, I'm a Niger Delta girl as well. I'm from Delta State.
No,
So see the fact
you
that
see,
you are doing this is
you
amazing. Seriously. You want to say something?
in the next few years, right, people will want to come to Bayelsa.
Hmm.
By the time I'm done with this project, by the time we are done, by the grace of God, people will want to come to the Niger Delta from outside the country, not just from Nigeria this time. They'll be flying in to come to the Niger Delta. That is, they'll fly into Lagos, they'll come to the Niger Delta. So we're having a great population of foreigners in Bayelsa in the
Hmm.
next future. So these are some things I just want to say out, because the project is when you say you're dedicating your life to something, the people should understand what I mean by that. So I'm just trying to give more context to it. So you have no choice in the next future but to like the people for who they truly are. We're not coming here to create some new stories, or no, we're coming to tell you the true story. That's all we're doing. We're not saviors or helpers or anybody. No, we're
Hmm.
coming to tell you the story the way the story should have been told from the beginning. There's a way the story should have been told. It was not told that way. What we're coming to do is tell you the true story, the right story, the one you should have heard from the start. Not the one that started from 1956. No, not the one that
I
started
like
from 18 something, something, 16. But the
I
one that started from the beginning.
the one that's like
Who
from
they
the
are. That's what we're coming to do.
oh
Yes,
wow,
that's who they really are. Who are these people? Let's want to show you who they really are. You can't defend me if you don't know who I am.
that's
Do you
true.
understand? You
That's
know
true.
me and somebody say I stole something. You say, no, 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 one that cannot steal, one that does not do that. But
Hmm.
if someone tells you Niger Delta deserve more than what the government is doing, Niger Delta deserve the percentage of the money that the government is taking from them, can you stand for them? No, you will like, leave them. And what are you saying? They are militants. Because that's all you see on the media. That's all you know them as. You say they don't deserve. You cannot travel there, or they're violent people. That's all you will say. But imagine you knew that they were good people. Imagine you knew that they were loving people. Imagine you knew that they had rich culture. Anything that goes against all these good things you know about them, you want to stand against it. You say, no, 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 I know who these people are. I can defend them. I can stand for them. They are loving people. They deserve this, they deserve that. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to show you who they truly are. That's all. That's all we are doing with the Niger Data project, this Bayelsa Beefy project. That's all. To just show you who they are. The truth. That is the truth we want to show you. Yeah.
Okay, okay, like with where you've mentioned so many amazing facts about Bayelsa, like the the Mama Palm Oil story that you actually mentioned. So if you want to see the pictures, you can actually check Wonder on Instagram and on Twitter. I think your handle is Chris Wonder Art, right? So you would see the amazing picture, and when you see
Yeah.
the
Yeah. On
picture,
Twitter and Instagram.
and also the I think 1 minute or 2 minutes video, the short documentary rather of that woman's story, you would be so drawn with what Wanda is doing. So yeah, Wanda, you said something that really caught my attention while we were having this conversation. And you said something like when you are dedicating, this is a project that you are dedicating your life to. So you know that as young people, we always have this conversation with, oh, what am I going to do with my life? So there are a lot of people that always have this question, even while growing up, like when I was 18, 19, I used to ask this question, what next? What do I want out of life?
Mm,
Where would I be when I'm
yeah.
25? What would I be when I'm 30? What am I going to do after University of Benin? So for you to have found that
Yeah.
particular project, how did you discover your passion? I really don't like asking the question, how did you discover your passion? Because I know it
Mm,
can mean a lot of things, but my question is, how did you discover that this particular project is what you want to dedicate the next 5 years, 10 years of your life doing? How did you know this was the one? When they are asking somebody to marry them, they'll say like, I knew like
yeah.
she's the person. So how did you know this project
Yeah.
was the one?
Yeah. This question. I know I'm going to get this question a lot, like from now. So it's better I start refining my answer for this question, to be honest. But I'll just try and give it raw. I've always loved Bayelsa. There has been this love in my heart for Bayelsa. When it gets an obsession, you cannot really explain what it is anymore. I don't
Mm,
know if you understand me. It gets to a point where you love something so much that you cannot easily explain what it is. And that is at the point I am right now. So this project became something for me when I know I don't sound religious, because I know that different people will be listening to this podcast, but I want to say that it was God that told me this is what you are born to do. He told me himself, this is what you're born to do. So people may not understand what that means. But when you hear that voice, when you hear that voice deep down in your heart, do this. You understand? Even the title alone, Bayelsa, she is beautiful. You will know that the title did not just come from someone just sitting down and just writing. No, it didn't come from me brainstorming on different. I did not brainstorm on different titles. I didn't think of two titles any day. The title came. That was the title. I need to think of a second one. I didn't guess it. I didn't ponder upon it. But then such a beautiful project came as a title from the start of the project. You understand me? So it's something that when I say I dedicate my life to something, at least I should put myself on like the fence. Yeah, and say
mm,
I may do this thing for 5 years, or I may do it for 5 years. I may know. I'm saying this is what I'm dedicating my life and my time to. Then you should understand that the answer for this question is not as easily as it can't come as ABC straightforward. It's something deeper. It's coming from inside. Can you understand me? It's coming
yes.
from inside. There's something. Yeah, it's a calling. When you do something, you will know. You will know. So that's what this thing is, bro. That's what this thing is.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. We've had like a very when you mentioned how you got your inspiration for your project, I think I also share the same view with you as well too. And I like the fact that we've had like a very interesting conversation so far, which is really interesting. And I don't want to give a backstory as to how this has happened, from you and telling us about your background, how your parents supported your newfound passion, from people who were always booking you to take pictures for them because your own work and pictures is a different kind and it's more like a work of art. And I can testify because even during our church on the street project, we used to still book him down and say one day you'll be the one that will take us pictures, obviously. And it's ones that can last for like a whole long for like very, very long time. And I still have people telling me pictures that it took me 4 years ago. Like when did I take the picture? So for picture that one that took me 4 years ago to still be speaking so much volume, it really means a whole lot as to how far you've come as a photographer, as a documentary and portrait photographer. So we're almost getting towards the end of this podcast. And to be honest, I've had like a very interesting conversation with you so far. So I love asking my guests this question because most times people think life is all about just going, you have to get it, you have to get it, you have to get it, you have to get it. Um, do you think how do you think your failures, have shaped you so far? Because I know you must have failed at something. So just, share one thing, just share one particular experience of when your plan backfired. when your plan backfired. So and have that particular moment. I have my own moment as well. So and how that particular moment, has shaped your life right now.
Okay. I don't know if your question is exactly my failures or whether my experiences, like bad experiences, have shaped me. I want to just get the question clear. Is it just failures that have shaped me or like bad experiences?
I think it should be bad
Because it
experiences.
will be harder to pick out failures right now than
So
okay,
just like
bad experiences. Yeah. So one of the major experiences, bad experiences that shaped me is the loss of my dad. The loss of my dad. And when my dad was sick, this is a very long, it's going to be a long answer, but I'll try and shorten it as fast as possible. That shaped me in many ways. When I was a penta in secondary school, my dad was sick, and in that phase of my life, I was passing through anxiety, fear, pain, all those things. He had kidney issues, and then I remember going to the hospital and seeing him during our midterm because I attended boarding school. So when then I saw pipe through, I think his neck or so. That thing registered in my head. And when I go back to school, I was always like kind of like solemn, quiet. But I knew that each time I stepped into the studio to paint,
mm,
those things go away. I don't think about them anymore. So what I started doing was I spent time in the studio. I missed night prep. I didn't attend the night prep again, afternoon prep. I did not go to classes like that anymore. I wasn't, going to siesta. I wasn't going to all those inspection and the rest of them in the boarding school. I was spending all those time in the studio painting and drawing and painting. That skill was just growing. That skill was just developing. I was becoming like an authority basically in my school then. And I was doing commissions for students. Like I was making a lot of money. I was making a lot of money that my that depression was not there again because I was spending time doing something I loved that was helping me to cope with what I was going through. Each
oh
time I stepped
wow.
into that studio, that was when I began to think about what my dad was passing through and everything. But in that place, I was finding comfort. I was finding peace. I was finding joy. That was a very bad experience that, God used art to help me. That really shaped my art, that really helped me to become a very fast learner of art and to be very good at drawing at a very young age. And then photography entered and I developed my photography very well when I lost my dad. So that was in 2019. 2019 January, I got a call from home from my dad's spiritual father's wife. And then she called me, I was like, why is a big mom calling me? I'm like, so I picked up the call, we're talking for a while, and then she just hit me with the unfortunate news that I just lost my dad. And I was like, wow, okay. That was very painful. And I was looking at the water. I was in Togo then, Lome, Togo. And I was looking at the water, reflection of light on the water. It was a very beautiful sight. So I went to the water side and I sat down there just thinking and thinking, God, and crying. And then I went to my room. The next day, I picked up my camera. I went to the street, started taking pictures.
Wow.
Taking pictures. I was missing some classes, missing some of those activities. I was just taking pictures on the streets, editing them, taking pictures, coming back, editing them. That thing kept me busy for 2 weeks straight. That nobody knew that I lost my dad.
Oh
On the
wow.
night before I was traveling, we had a general meeting and we met, and everybody said, why are we meeting and all? They said that Wanda is traveling tomorrow to Nigeria. They were like, wow, why is Wanda traveling? We just came to Togo. Then they gave them the reason why that he lost his dad. Everybody opened their mouth like, what? They did not know that this guy lost his dad for 2 weeks. They did not say anything about it. You understand me? Why? Because of I was actually doing something that I loved, trying to cope with that situation. So
Mm,
that incident shaped my photography. It made me to realize your passion can be greater than just your passion. Your passion can change your life. Your passion can save your life from depression. Your passion can save your life from anxiety, fear. God can use anything to help you. And that was what God used to help me in those 2 times of my life when I was faced with difficult situations. He used my passion to help me overcome them. I didn't have to go to a counselor or anybody. He used my passion to comfort me because there was something I was busy doing. So, when I talk to people about that passion, people are like, oh, I can't start this, I can't start. I'm like, if you knew that your life depended on this thing, you will start it. If you knew that your life depends on this particular, if you knew that your passion is not just a mere word, passion, it is deeper than that. You can have a relationship with your passion where it becomes something that, that can help you. So that's what happened to me. Those are the two bad experiences that really really shaped me to be who I am now as an artist. And I'm not saying I'm happy that those things happened, but at the same time, we must be grateful for everything. You can't change the past. You must look back at the past and say, what has the past? What have you gained from all that's happened? And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm not happy my dad has gone. I wish he was there. I miss him so much. But at the same time, if my dad had not gone, I won't be in Bayelsa doing this project right now. That is going to change the whole narrative. That's not going to change the narrative, but it's going to recreate the narrative of an entire nation. I won't be here. As my photography would have gotten to this level if it didn't leave. So I'm not happy at it left in any way. It still affects me sometimes. But I'm grateful, I'm grateful that life still continues while moving on. But these experiences have helped me also. It has made me sad sometimes, but it has helped me in many ways. And you know, I'm glad to share it with you because there are bad experiences, but still, I know it's going to impact someone out there to actually chase their passion and all. So that's why I'm sharing it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing. And I like the fact that you said God can use God can use anything to help us as individuals. And when you talked about Togo, it made me remember that you actually went on a trip. I think that was in your third year, right, at the University of Benin. I don't know if I'm correct, if I'm right, but you can actually correct me. You studied French, I think French education, something like that. So I want to know,
Yeah, I read French education.
do you think University of Benin had an impact, in what you are doing now? Do you think if you're not in UNIBEN, you'll still be doing what you're doing? But if at all, do you think the University of Benin, your experience as a student at the University of Benin had a huge impact in your journey as a documentary photographer or as a storyteller rather?
Yes, University of Benin had a lot of impacts actually because that's where I got to meet amazing people. That's where I got to meet amazing people. Where I started my photography from, that was where the root of my photography is. And like you said, I worked with church on the streets. It was through University of Benin I met you. First of
Mm.
all, just through University of Benin that I met, you found out church on the street, and a lot of my other friends that I met. I
Mm.
know with church on the street I've traveled. We traveled to different places, and it was in the course of that journey I began to realize that man, I'm actually called to documentary. If I had not started working with a non-profit like church on the street and we were not traveling at all, maybe it would have taken me a longer time to realize I was actually called to be a documentary photographer and a portrait photographer. But because of the travel, sometimes I go there and I experience some kind of things with these people because when I'm going on documentary work, I connect with people very deeply before I can tell that story.
Mm.
I don't invade their privacy and just force them to sit for my
So
picture. No, I communicate to them and get a deeper level before I take that picture. So it helped me to realize that, oh, this is what I actually love. Going on those trips
yeah.
helped me realize, but I wouldn't have met you guys if I was not in
In
University of
University
Benin.
of
I wouldn't
Benin.
have gone to Togo
Mm.
if I was not in University of Benin. I wouldn't have studied French if I was not in University. So University of Benin contributed a lot to my photography, basically. So yeah, it did. It did.
Wow. I'm tempted to say greatest universe student. Great. Oh, good.
UNIBEN
Thank you so.
alumni.
Yeah, so that's it. And thank you very much. And thank you so much for this amazing
Yeah.
conversation. Want to ask you I want to ask
Yeah.
you second to the last question, which would be, what's the best, piece of advice you've ever gotten from someone?
Hmm. I've gotten a lot of advice, but I think the one I'll say right now is what my mom told me recently. And it's just 3 words. Time will tell. Time will
Can you say
tell.
that
So she
again?
told me one that time will tell. These projects are going on. People may laugh at you, people may not understand you, but time will tell. Let them keep watching. Let them keep
Wow.
watching. Leave them to watch. Time will tell. Do what you want to do. Time will tell. Focus on that thing that you know that God has called you to do. Time will tell. Do not give up on it. Be consistent and keep chasing it with everything in you. Time will tell. So those 3 words are things that are very important to me right now. Time will tell. So I tell people to the same thing. Time will tell. And another one is where you are right now is not where you will always be. Where you are right now is not where you will always be. So we need to keep thinking about that. Time will tell. Just 3 words. I mean, like one of my best advices I've ever gotten ever. So yeah. from my mom, my lovely mom.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you so much for sharing. And we can actually tell that your parents had a great impact in your journey and in your career as well. I think that's the reason why I like the fact that this episode
They did.
has, taken us through a whole lot of experiences. Like it's just giving the whole vision I
Yeah.
had for my podcast, from uni to you getting a camera, saving up to get the camera, to how your bad experiences shaped you, to starting the Bayelsa, she's beautiful,
Yeah.
to the passion that you have right now and what you're dedicating the next 5, 10 years of your life, how you got the confirmation that this is what you're supposed to do from God and not second guessing yourself. It has really been an amazing time having you on this episode, and I'm grateful. Thank you so much, Wanda, for joining me on this particular episode
Thank you.
from the
Thank you
limitless
for having me.
journey to
Thank
you.
you so
Thank
much.
you. So, but before we go, can you like give us final words of advice? Like a lot of people would be looking, like a lot of people are like, oh my God, like me, I'm the one that is interviewing you, but I have this, oh my God, like you're able to do this. I'm really, really impressed and
Please.
inspired by your journey. So your final words for us, for the fam. But so let us know give us your final words before we draw. Did they say before they draw the curtain?
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
okay. I think what I'll say is that man, just do what just find out one thing that you love to do and do it. Like, come on. Life you can only live life once. You can only live life. There's this guy I follow, Gary V. I don't know if
Mm,
you know about Gary V, but if you are a
yeah.
young person and you don't know about Gary V, please go and check him out on YouTube, Instagram. Follow this guy. Like follow this guy. He's the guy you need to be following right now. If you are saying something, that something for something, Gary V is your guy. Because he just makes you understand that life is you only live this life once. You can only live this life once. Just do that one thing that you know you love to do. Because if you don't do it now, in the next 10, 20 years, you'll be thinking of doing it. When you see the other people that you were
Mm,
with at that time, they did it and they're excelling. You now realize that, I mean, why didn't I just do this thing? Then you begin to figure out how can I do it now when somebody has started their own 20 years ago. And even at that moment, it's not too late. But why not just start now that you have the knowledge of what you love to do? That's the question. Just find out one thing. For me, I've seen that it is Bayelsa, she is beautiful project that I'm dedicating my life to. Whether there's hunger, whether there's no food, whether there's no light, whether there's no, I do not care. I
wow.
know that where I am now is not where I'll always be. I will chase that one thing. It may not look so all rosy at the beginning, but it will be rosy at the end. Definitely, it will be. I'm so confident. See, you can't do something consistently, whether you're Christian or not Christian, Muslim or not Muslim, whether you are religious or not. You can't do something consistently for 10 years and nothing happens. You cannot. Something must happen from it. Can you be
Yes.
consistent with that thing? Find out one thing you love to do. Even though it's shiny shoe, whether it is, cleaning kitchen, cleaning toilet, whatever that one thing is that you know you love deep down to do, that thing can make you a millionaire, a billionaire in the nearest future. Just be committed, be consistent, keep reading. If you're a young person, keep reading, keep building yourself, and just find out one thing. Like I'm so like I'll emphasize it that you should find out one thing you love to do and chase it with everything. So that's my advice. And time will tell. Let me add my mom's advice to it. So thank you
Time
so
will
much.
tell.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited. I was very excited about this episode. I've enjoyed this conversation with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, really. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for agreeing to do this with me. And I'm really, really glad that, you've been able to share your story with the world. The power of consistency, passion, grit. Is it grit they call it? Yeah, grit, hard work, and, also having a relationship with God as well. Thank you so much, Christopher Wanda Osareme, our documentary and portrait photography and photographer. Thank you for being on this podcast episode with me. And if you're listening to this point,
Yeah.
thank you so much. You
Yeah.
are the real G.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much for
much for
having me.
staying with us to this particular time.
We are really, really grateful. And if you definitely enjoyed this episode, don't forget to share this episode with your friends, your family members, and also don't forget to tag us on all social media
Yeah,
platforms. We would be Limitless Journey Podcast. And I remain your favorite and amazing host, Success
definitely.
Yole Ariveso. Thank you guys so much. And hopefully, by God's grace, I hope to see you guys on our next episode. Take care and do have a lovely day or a lovely night whenever you listen to this episode. Bye, guys. Bye. Thank you.